Lachy, thanks for joining us on the pod today,
No problem. None at all.
mate. Obviously, you're over in Germany. How is it? How you been? It's been a while between since we've seen each other.
Yeah, I mean it's a different world sort of thing over here. Obviously, I mean it starts with it's cold, uh, which I don't really like, but it is what it is. I mean my skin tone is definitely thanking me for not seeing the sun as much this year, but it's starting to warm up a little bit now. So yeah, it's nice and it's nice to experience something new. So
Yeah, great.
yeah.
Whereabouts are you actually located in Germany?
So I'm in like a place called Karlsruhe.
Yeah.
So it's like if you draw an L shaped between, say, Stuttgart, which is, if anyone doesn't know where that is, it's, I guess, central um, Germany, more probably central west Germany,
Hmm.
and then straight directly down from Frankfurt. So the map, France runs into like a little right angle, and we're sort of, I guess, 20 minutes in from that little right angle
Yeah,
spot.
nice. I guess the big question here that everyone always talks about the food in Germany, the sausages, the schnitzels, and even the beer. Can you confirm or deny? Is it fabulous or is it average?
I mean, where we are is less typical German.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it's weird. It's sort of made up in like states, and the states kind of run everything.
Okay,
Um,
really?
so Bavaria, like Munich area, is like typical big German pork knuckles, big steins. Like for us, I think our city was pretty occupied by Americans
Hmm.
in the war, so it's sort of got a little bit of an American tinge to it. But I mean, you can. I mean, you're in Germany. You can find a couple of big pretzels and a big pork knuckle somewhere.
No, 100%.
My personal opinion is I'm not a massive fan of the big pork knuckles and the everything. I mean, I can't say I don't like Steins, and who doesn't like a beer? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I mean, for me, I would prefer, I guess, a home cooked meal, maybe an Aussie steak or something. That's
Mate,
probably a bit
fair
nicer.
enough. Yeah, just taking it back to Aussie land there.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
quickly, we'll touch on your current season later, but what is there a massive difference between, I guess, the NBL slash NBL one competition compared to the league you're in now?
I mean, yes and no. Like a big difference that kind of, I guess I had to get used to very quickly was like just at some stages there's like a language barrier.
Mm,
Um, for us, I'm really lucky. Like Germany, everyone really speaks English, so um, pardon me, we're all right over here. Um, I know like some people kind of have gone to other places and you have a translator. Like one of the boys was in Japan last year. Sam Froling was in Japan last year. He had a translator the whole time. So
yeah.
um, like it's not that difficult translating everything. I sort of figured. I mean, you learn the swear words in most countries. I have a Croatian coach, so I'm very well versed in the foul language of the Yugoslavians. But
Man, you're gonna be
it's
multilingual in the swear words
yeah,
by
yeah.
the
So
end of your career.
I can get away with a lot more at home. I think the road rage can pump up a little bit, but
That's
no, I
classic.
mean basketball wise, it's a little bit interesting. Like, for example, our league has a rule where at at all times there must be two Germans on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Um, so from an import perspective, I think we have six, um,
Hmm.
which means only three, or we might have five. I can't remember. Um, but we only three can play at a time.
Yeah.
Um, and at the moment, we have three Germans on our whole roster. So we are down. The injuries are killing us at the moment. So we are yeah, as an import, you're sort of sitting back watching a little bit more than what you would if you had a little German flag on your
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, basketball is basketball.
Yeah.
Putting the ball in the hoop and trying to do that. But
Mate,
yeah,
that's what
there's
you do
definitely a
best.
style of play. There's definitely a style of play which is a bit different.
Yeah, I heard. I'm not sure if this is um affects you guys, but I heard an interview with actually Luka Doncic it might have been a couple of months ago, actually. He said in the NBA, it's easier to score, but in the Euro leagues, it's more difficult to score. Do you find that a true statement compared, like coming from the NBL, let's say, compared to scoring in the German league? Is there a massive difference in that perspective?
Uh, I mean, firstly, Luca played at the highest European level,
Yeah.
and like I watched that, like I literally was just watching a game, just before I jumped on here, and like it's physical. There's 7 footers. It's like it's brutal.
Yeah.
Um, and it looks like it's very difficult to score the ball. The NBA, I think, set up very interestingly with all the rules and the spacing and the I guess people say non-defense, but I think there's defense. It's just a
Mm.
way around trying to figure out how to manipulate the rules. But in terms of from Australia to here, um, I mean, I don't think so. Um, I mean, I've had much similar season here than what I had at home. Like it was sort of inconsistent, up and down. Big games and then a couple of games that were a bit rubbish scoring the ball. So
Yeah.
I think from my perspective, not as much. I will say, like I've seen, like on-ball defense is something that, like we face a show pretty much every week here, which is essentially where the big guy just helps out one guarding the ball screen. Back home, you sort of face a more of like a drop, protect the rim kind of defense.
Hmm.
So that was like that's more or less interesting because you learn a new way to attack that. But yeah, I mean, scoring wise, I don't know. I mean, if you make shots, it's easier. If you miss it, I guess it's harder. But
That's the aim of the
yeah,
game, isn't it? Make
yeah,
shots.
pretty much. Yeah, the NBA is such an outlier though because those rules just make it so much easier for
Yeah, it's
guys to
crazy. Hey,
do that. So
let's uh let's let's wind it back a few years. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but you were actually born in Victoria. Is that true?
no, that's not true. I was
Oh,
born in Campbelltown, mighty West Tigers land. So
yeah, I thought so. On the net it said born in Campbelltown, Victoria. I was like, that's weird.
yeah, no, that is
Incorrect.
very incorrect. I'm not a Victorian.
You're Victorian.
Happily not a Victorian. Uh,
All right, well, let's
yeah,
change that statement. You were born in Campbelltown, New South Wales, and then
yeah.
well, what age did you move to the Wollongong area?
I think it was like 2002, so I would have been 2 years old.
Mm.
Actually, no, it was 2003 because my sister was born in '02. My dad ran like a boarding house up in Campbelltown and then decided to move down. So
Yep.
yeah, '03. So I was 3 years old. We moved into Woonona. Um, and
T-
yeah,
Tell us about how did you find growing up, I guess, in the Illawarra area?
um, I mean, growing up, I think it was like it's awesome.
Hmm.
Uh, I think like when you're in it, you don't really understand how awesome it is. Um, but now, like even coming over here, like looking back, you go, oh, okay, like my childhood was awesome because you're growing up. Like if you want to go to the beach, you can go to the beach. If you want to do something, you can do something. If you want to follow a sport team, there's like I think there's 3 professional sport teams. If there's probably more. Oh, there's more. There's Stingrays too. Um, but so like you can follow like you can pretty much do something any day of the week. And it's such a small town, yet it feels a bit bigger than what it probably is.
Yeah.
Like I love it. It's to me, it's the best place on the planet, and like I'm really excited to come home and see it all again. That being said, I am loving my time over here and really enjoying being away and experiencing new things. But yeah, I always look forward to getting back home and hanging out again.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the basketball side of things. So, was basketball always, I guess, a focus point for you from a young age? Is that what you wanted to do?
Uh, not. I mean, not really, kind of, but not really. So when I was like a youngster, I wanted to play rugby.
Hmm.
Um,
Rugby
so my
union?
name's Larkham. Yeah. So dad wanted Larkham.
Yep.
as my name for Stephen Larkham.
Oh yeah, yep.
Um, but I think Mum put her foot down and said we'll settle on Lachlan. That might be a little Mandela effect that might have travelled over the years, but that's how I recall it. But yeah, so growing up, I wanted to play rugby union because Dad was involved with some rugby union stuff. Dad
Yep.
coached rugby league. And then I remember like my mates at school played a basketball team, like at the PCYC there in Bulli.
Hmm.
And I was just like, yeah, like I really wanted to play. Actually, they didn't pick me in the side because I was sort of a little bit of an outsider. And then one kid hurt himself, and I came on, and I don't know if they'd won a game or something, and then we didn't lose, and so I ended up staying and playing. Um, and so then from there, I just ended up, growing in love with it a little bit more and more. And then my best mate in primary school and high school, and he's still one of my best mates right now. He's Tom Cranny. He moved to Joey's at Bulla where I was going to school, and his dad was the coach of the Illawarra rep side. So from then on, it was pretty much basketball.
Yeah.
I remember I wanted to play footy, like rugby league, but I think Mum said I could choose basketball or play rugby league. So
Oh, the
um,
ultimatum. Which one are you going
yeah,
to pick?
yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I think I picked the right one,
Yeah,
but
100%. Let's, I guess, typically, in all basketball leagues, you have, your 7 footers, your 6'5" players. You being, I hope I don't offend you here, but being a smaller guard, I guess you could say, what made you stand out from everyone else? Like, were there attributes that you had that, did you have the quickness advantage over people? Did you have, your were you quick shotting people? What was your advantage being a smaller guard? What attributes did you bring to the table?
yeah. I mean, firstly, I was 5'8", 5'9" at 12 years old with armpit hair and shaving
Yeah.
my beard. So I was like a man child. So initially that made me stand out.
I didn't
The
realize
good
that,
thing, yeah, I was massive. Like I think I shaved my beard in year 6.
bro.
Um,
I
it's
still can't
cooked.
grow a full beard.
Yeah, I mean, right now I've got the near growing the neck beard, but yeah, I still remember like the first shave. Mum was nearly in tears because it's like, what? Why is my kid
So
shaving in
young.
year 6?
That's
But
funny.
yeah, like it was it stood out because I was bigger than everybody, and
Yeah.
my dad was the coach, and so just because my skill set was pretty high, like I mean, both my parents are extremely like athletic, especially as youngsters. So I kind of grew up with a lot of hand-eye coordination. I think my first word I said was ball. So I was kind of destined for something to do with
Yeah.
sport.
I was about to say that's destiny right there.
Yeah, but I like there's videos of me like as not even being able to walk, and I am throwing a ball from above my head and kicking it back up and catching it.
Yeah, right.
So like I think hand-eye coordination, I can probably thank both mum and dad for that. They played a lot of sport. So skill level wise, I mean, I was bigger than everybody by a head, and then I'm probably more skilled than most of these kids are.
Hmm.
Um, so I was playing the point guard as the tallest kid on the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so initially that makes you stand out, and everyone's going, "Oh man, like he's going to be a Ben Simmons,"
Yeah.
the 6'9" point guard. Unfortunately, it stopped the growing, and so now I'm probably I say 6 foot, but I'm listed over here at like 189, which I don't think is true.
What is that?
But I'll
Smaller
take
or
it.
taller? You can take that. Yeah.
I don't think I'm that tall. So, but
Take it.
yeah, 100% I'll be taking it. But yeah, I mean, I think just like my skill level and being taller than everyone, and then I mean to this day, like I'm just a basketball nerd. Like I
Yeah.
said, like we practiced this morning. Like I wake up, we watched um, basketball this morning, went to practice, came home, watched more basketball, went to the grocery store, came home, watched more basketball. Like I'm an
Takes up
absolute
80%
nerd
of your
for
day.
it. takes up more than 80, I think, maybe 95.
Fabulous.
So
Let,
yeah,
let's let's move on to high school. You you attended Holy Spirit College in, where's that located again? Is that
Bellambi.
Bellambi? Yeah.
Yeah.
I stumbled actually when I was researching some of your stats. I stumbled across a photo of yourself, Xavier Cooks, and Angus Glover. Like all three of you now have gone on to play in the NBL and do other things. Zave's obviously gone over to the States and played a couple of games in the NBA for the Wizards and whatnot. Man, like that's an awesome success for you guys as well as the school. Like, how does that feel having three of your mates go on to, well, three best mates go on to bigger and better things?
Yeah, I mean, it is really cool. There's actually like our school had a lot of talent sporting wise. There's another kid, Kyle Zunick. He was at our school.
Mm,
He was a year above me. He's at Perth. Um, and so like did 4 years at college, went to Perth. Like Sean Cranny, I think's in that photo too.
yeah,
He's he did 4 years at college, like in America. He's living over there now. So that's just basketball. Like we've had, I mean, Emma Tonegado comes to mind. She was at our school. She's playing for I think Cronulla now, maybe, or the Roosters.
yeah. She's like, yeah, pretty sure
Um,
she's like Cronulla. Yeah,
yeah, Keely Davis, like
Hills. Yeah,
she's a gun. Like we've had so many players or so many athletes come through our school, um, and so like it's really interesting looking back because like back then it was just like okay, yeah, we were just really strong. Like as a basketball team, we were really strong. Like and now it's like oh shit, like that's really random. Sorry, I forgot I
mate,
couldn't
you can
swear.
swear. Mate, I don't give a fuck. You can
Okay,
swear.
cool, cool. But like that's really random. Like such a little school in Bellambi. Like I remember we'd go to national championships and people wouldn't be able to pronounce Bellambi. Um,
Yeah,
and so like the fact that we've had, I mean, Zave's killing it right now. Angus had a bit of a rough year, but like year before last, like he's probably a contender for NBL Finals MVP. So um, yeah, it is quite cool that we've had such a like a big number of people make it out of such a small little proportion area.
yeah, for sure. Um, so post your high school period, I guess, in between that high school and an NBL phase. So, what was the pathways or the systems that you entered after you left high school? Drinks break.
Sorry, rubbish timing. For I mean, I took it a little bit weird. I ended up quitting basketball for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and tried to play AFL.
That was my next
Um,
question.
yeah, so it was a bit funky. Looking back, like, I mean, I've had conversations with some people, and it's like, man, I wish I didn't do it. And then one of my mates, like I was talking about before, Tom Cranny, he just said, mate, like where you were at, like this is the best, like that was the best decision you made, and then you can come back and you're refreshed. Like
Yeah.
it was sort of like probably had a little bit of burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was a big kid um, with a high skill set at a young age. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself to do really good. Um, I think I just burnt out over time and got to the stage where I just wanted to go and I guess be a normal kid and maybe still try and be an athlete. And I thought footy was probably one of the better things to
Mm-hmm.
try. Um, that ended up being in like a year later. I think the NBL season, preseason started, and I just thought, bugger it. Like I remember being running out onto like a AFL field and it being like 6 degrees and I'm freezing cold and I'm playing in Wollongong and I'm thinking if I play in Victoria, it's colder than this. I got short shorts on and a singlet and I'm freezing. Like,
Yeah, big
why am I
problems.
doing this? Like, this is not for me. So I ended up just going, yeah, I'll go stand inside and chase the ball and try and put it in a hoop.
Yeah, fabulous. You're a bit modest there. I think were you in the Sydney Swan system for a bit?
I did the academy thing.
Yeah.
I think I played 5 NEFL games and yeah, I tell a story. I remember we played like the first game, I don't think I'd played a game of AFL, like a game of like Aussie rules ever.
Yeah.
And they just said, yeah, you're going to play NEFL this week. And I was like, shit, okay. And we're playing the Giants as a curtain raiser for the AFL at the SCG. So my first ever AFL game was at the SCG for
In,
the Giants,
in
against the Giants for
in
the
front
Swans.
of
And
probably a massive crowd too.
well, by the end, yeah, the first
Yeah.
no one was there. Like mum and dad were there and whatnot. And then by the end, it was like, yeah, right. Like I remember like just looking around going, holy hell, like this is wild. But and then I played maybe like I think like 3 or 4 weeks later, we played GWS again at what's their home? I think it's
Oh,
Metricon. No, it's not Metricon.
Spotless or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we played. Yeah, so we played
Yeah.
there, and I played like just in the back line, just as a little like kind of just put me on the board and let me just see everything and not screw up. The place where you could put someone and not screw up the most. And I was, I remember like just kind of ball came down on the wing and I was like backing up and behind me, our full back was Aaliyah.
Yep.
So he was playing seconds at the time. And so I remember like backing up into this, like this ball gets put over my head and I'm backing up into it and I'm like, all right, like I have to go like at least try and jump or look like I try and jump. So I take a couple of steps back and I just hear this like coming down, like, and I'm like, oh no. And I just get kneed in the back of the head. And I remember getting up, just looking, I was like, who is that? And it was John Patton and
Uh,
Aaliyah had a one-on-one contest and I just happened to be at the bottom of it. And I remember it was between that, like the cold night and then that. And I was just like, yeah, this
mate,
isn't for me.
that's me. I'm
I'd
done.
rather run into Bainesy screens or something. This
Would you?
yeah, I don't know. That hurts too.
You mentioned, sorry, you mentioned, the NBL came calling while you were still in that AFL mindset. So they came calling and what, they just offered you a development contract or what kind of contract or what agreement did they offer you?
It wasn't any agreement or nothing. Like I from like 16, I was practicing with the Hawks.
Mhm.
Rob Beveridge was the coach at that time, and he was awesome. He just brought
Yeah.
everyone in.
Yeah.
And so like I mean, I credit a lot to him because he brought me in. Like I'm hanging around Kevin Lish. I'm sitting down talking to Kirk Penny. Like I formed a relationship then with like one of my good mates, AJ Ogilvy, like Timmy Conrad's there. Like all these guys are sitting there. You're getting to meet the stars of I guess the NBL, and they were good. They like I think Kevin Lish won MVP that year,
Yeah.
so they were really really good. And for me, I just got to practice and run around and pretend like I knew what I was doing for a little bit as a youngster, um, and then it just progressed a little bit older, and I ended up going and playing AFL, and then preseason came back, and Bevo was like, "Yeah, you're welcome to come train." So I showed up, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come and just work out a little bit." I think I did 1 or 2 sessions, and I was like, "Yeah, this is so much more fun." Like,
Yeah.
I think I really like the uh, close knit group. Like, there's not many people. Um, I mean, it works good and bad. If you have a bad group, um, it can be pretty bad because you can't really run and hide with other people. But like I've been pretty lucky that most of my teams have been very close, and so this was one of those teams, and I think I just loved it, so I just hung around.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, so you said you were in there training. At what age did you actually sign? Did you sign a development contract later down the track?
Yeah, so my first actual DP contract was with Gorgon's first year.
Okay.
So that was what the first year of COVID.
Yeah.
Uh, so the year before, like I mean, I did that thing with Bevo, like that year just practicing with Bevo there, and I'd actually was like kind of verbally committed to go to college. So I was going to go to a school in the States, and then it sort of fell through. I think like it just was too rushed and everything, and the situation was a bit funky. But so I ended up, my under 20s coach had a contact in Tasmania, and I
Yep.
just was like, yep, I'll go do that. So signed down in Tasmania to live in a place called Ulverston
Yep.
on the northwest coast. So I played down there, and to be honest, like I'm a 19-year-old kid leaving home for the first time and going to live in a new place and play basketball.
Yeah.
Probably drunk a few too many beers.
As you do.
Throughout the week too, which probably led to a bit of chubbiness. I look back on some photos now and I think, oh geez, I reckon I've dropped about 5 or 6 kilos since then. But yeah, that sort of started, and then I came back, and the next year Flinny had a spot at when he was coaching at Illawarra, so Matt Flynn. And I didn't get a DP gig that year. I just was a training player. But they had a bunch of injuries. That was the year LaMelo was there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that was a hectic year. But so I did that, and then ended up playing 2 games that year.
I was about to say, so that was the year you made your debut.
Yeah.
How do you remember what was running through your mind when who was the coach again? Matt Flynn, you said.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what was running through your mind when he said, "All right, mate, it's time to come check into the game"? Were you like, "Holy shit! Like, I'm going to step foot on an NBL court"?
Yeah. I mean, I remember it was in Brisbane. And I remember it like Matty Adeponya. So I don't know if you know who he is. He's the photographer dude.
Yeah.
He's an absolute legend, and he was running it was like a video behind the scenes of the Hawks while LaMelo was there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, we're doing a segment on you this week." And I was like, "Yeah, right." So like the whole trick was just like me just talking to this camera. So I didn't really get much downtime. And so I ended up like, I mean, it's pretty random that you got LaMelo Ball and all these like real good players, and I'm just coming up for the weekend
Yeah.
just to fill numbers more or less and end up getting this segment. But it is kind of funny. Like I remember just at the time thinking like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, and I think we got blown out. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to go in, and I thought I was going to go in a little bit earlier than what I did because we were down by a fair bit. And you know, when you're sitting there and you can kind of like, I can kind of catch coach's eyes a little bit, look at me, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm got to get ready to go. So I'm like shaking my legs and whatnot, trying to get myself warm. But I remember checking in and just being like, okay, like it's time to,
it's go time.
Time to go here. But yeah, first possession, I got put on an island with Jason Kadee, and he just drove left and drew a foul, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is a bit of a jump.
Welcome to the NBL moment.
Yeah. So yeah, it is.
From here on in, you ended up playing. So far, you've ended up playing 45 NBL games. Is that right? Somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I got no idea.
Yeah, it's 45.
Okay. Yeah.
Bro, awesome. Like that's a massive achievement. Like for someone your age. You'd mentioned Gorge before. Tons of experience. Like he's a great coach. He's coached all around the world. He's played. I feel like he probably helped your game a little bit. Did he give you that extra bit of confidence, Gorge? Tell us a little bit about him and how he kind of helped you out.
Yeah, I mean, Gorge is like to this day one of my favorite coaches. Like he was pretty tough. Like we would do sessions. The first year we had, I think it was was it an Olympic year? No, it wasn't. It was the COVID year, and he was stuck in Melbourne. So we actually had Jacob Jackomas run like pretty much our whole preseason until Gorge came up, because I think he got a knee recal as well or something. Like he had some health issue and he went through that. Anyway, he ended up coming in to Wollongong, and I actually got diagnosed with mono. So
What's up?
And I didn't have it. like infectious mono. I don't know what the actual name is. I think it's pretty much glandular fever.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, so because I remember just like it started with we'd practice like a bunch, and then I had like Greeter and Sam came around to my place to have a couple of beers and dinner and just hang out, and we were just going to go and have a night, I think, and I just ended up getting migraines and headaches, and I couldn't see or anything like that, so I ended up jumping off, and the boys went in, and I hung out. But I was just like, yeah, okay, like this is really, really interesting. And I thought, like, instantly, I was like, okay, like maybe I'm just having a little reaction to, I don't even think, I think I even had like half a beer and I started getting it. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. Like,
Mhm.
um, and so like instantly I was like, okay, like, was it a reaction to like an alcohol drink or something, like whatever? Um, Turns out it wasn't. It was in the middle of COVID. So I ended up doing a COVID test nearly every second day.
Yeah,
And that was back in the day of the PCRs. So
yeah,
I would get a test, get a negative, feel shit, get a test, get a negative. Um, so, and like that was with the club doctor was just like, man, you have to do it. Like,
yeah. It's
anyway, I
protocol.
ended up getting some bloods done and he said, yeah, you got mono, like you're going to have to sit out. And I didn't have I didn't have a job, a contract
Yeah,
at that time. And I was like, far out, like I can't. So I did this whole pre-season with Gorge with mono
bro,
um,
that's
the
crazy.
whole time. So to this day, I think like it is probably like one. It's like I can't believe I did it.
Yeah,
Um, and like you wake up every morning, you just feel like shit. I'd smash two coffees and I'd just get in the car. Like,
you just get in and get it
um,
done.
just yeah, just grind through it, mind over everything. And
Yeah,
so I ended up getting that sorted. But like it's interesting. Like I mean, because of that, I stayed like I was. I mean, I'm not a massive drinker, like not at this stage, or not anymore. Like
you're
like this is
alcoholic.
sort of when I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna like I'm not a massive drinker, and I was like, I'm just staying off it because of the last time I had a beer, I had these massive headaches,
Hmm.
and so like it's crazy to me still to this day. Like I'm like, oh, like the the change your body has when you just don't drink over a period of time, like it is amazing.
Yeah,
Um, and I think like that and just grit, just constantly grinding through it is just wild. So if anything, like that preseason actually has like changed my basketball career
yeah,
for more ways than one. Like I think it's created this idea of what I could possibly be. And to be honest, like that's the best basketball I've played in a long time. Like I remember like, we had Justin Simon that year, and I
mm.
just like he is an unbelievable basketball player.
He's a freak of a talent, man. He's crazy.
Like, and defensively is scary. And I just remember just feeling, I'd walk out of practice some days and I'd just be like, yeah, right. Like, I felt like I just cooked him. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know if I did, but I felt that way. And I
yeah,
was just like, man. And so, like, it was something special. Like, I was really happy with where I was going. And then, yeah, that year was a bit of a tougher year for me. But, yeah, it ended up being, I think, something that has kickstarted my basketball career.
tell us a little bit about your experience with Gorge.
Um, I mean, yeah, like he came in and he was just like full on. I think like the biggest thing from Gord was he taught me like how to be a pro. Um, and like I said, like I mean, getting sick and just being like grinding through it probably helped. Um, but like it was it was like every day was like you have to be your best, and if you're not, because like I mean, like you said before, like I'm a small white point guard. Like if
Yeah,
I'm not at my best, I'm not going to be able to play. Um, and so, yeah, I think that's something that I still carry on. And then, yeah, obviously, I mean, uh, his passion for the game and everything is something that I think everyone can kind of learn from. It's like we'd be in Melbourne just walking past a TV that's got some rubbish old game of basketball on. Like it might be, I don't even know, like it's a blowout, and he stands there and watches it for 5 minutes.
he's
And
standing there breaking it down.
like, yeah, and I just think, what is going through your mind? But I'm so like, amazed by it. And I've probably taken some from that. Like I said, I just watch basketball every
Yeah,
day. So
that's true.
if I see a game of basketball, I'm always watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you talked about highly of the Hawks throughout this whole chat. You've obviously parted ways for now. Is there any bad blood between you and the Hawks? No.
Not really. I mean, I wish we could have won more games when I was playing. That's
Yeah.
like, and I take ownership for that a little bit. Like I would have liked to have played a bit better. Um, but yeah, I mean, I still find myself like sitting there. And like I said, I watch it. So I'm sitting there in the morning, I'm having a coffee and eating brekkie and I'm yelling at the TV when someone hits a three or
Yeah.
like it is really cool. And it's really cool to see like my mates do well.
Yeah.
Um, like some of those guys had breakout years at the end of the year. Like Davo had a massive end of the year,
Bro,
and that's awesome to see.
Davo absolutely killed it.
Yeah, and like
Mm.
he's like I was with him last year too. Like we were sitting there just grinding out games, like just like man, we just wanted to win so bad. So
Yeah.
it was so awesome to see them.
It's crazy,
Uh,
hey. What about
yeah,
obviously they started off the year pretty poorly. Um, but once Justin Tatum took over, they completely turned things around. What are your thoughts? What do you think that came down to?
I mean, there's probably like a lot of things. I don't really know the ins and outs too much of it. Um, like what went on and whatnot. Like I'm
Mhm.
pretty far removed.
Yeah.
I think like I mean it was just new life. Like it looked like it was exciting. It looked like everyone was playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean it is interesting. Like sometimes just like a change of scenery can really spark something
Yeah.
under people. Like it may be good, it may be bad, but for their case, it was really good. So it did look really fun. Like I had a bit of FOMO to be honest, sitting back watching
I can
the West
imagine.
pack out and everyone going mental and they're playing in a semi-final series. I was pretty yeah, pretty freaked out a little bit at times.
Yeah, well, at work here, like we always get tickets and the courtside tickets too. And every time Hawks had a home game, I'm like, courtside tickets,
Yeah.
courtside tickets. Like, nah, sorry, they're gone this week. Like, god damn. But yeah, it was friggin' unbelievable atmosphere at the WEC this year. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, all right, we're gonna
And to
move
be
on.
honest,
Oh
like
yeah, go.
last year, sorry, quickly, like we weren't winning games. Like we weren't very good last year.
Mm,
Um, but there was still like we still got 3,500 there. Like
yeah.
it's still packed out. It was still loud. Like you're not getting walking down the street getting like told you suck and like there
Hmm.
was a lot of positivity. So I think it's really, really nice to see that like the city, let alone the team, like I mean it's still home for me. So like that's the
Yeah.
team I grew up watching.
And I guess
Like I'm
especially those couple of years ago when, the Hawks were almost finished and
yeah,
those can't remember their names, but they brought them out. Ever since then, like I think the community has just rallied around the team,
yeah,
rallied around, you know, the players, and they're just like the community just absolutely loves basketball here in the Illawarra, which is amazing. It's good to see. It's crazy. So,
yeah. It's
um,
nice. Like there used to be a thing that says like you haven't played for the Hawks unless you've gone through a voluntary administration. Like it seems to have changed a little bit now, which is so good. So
that's
yeah, I think
crazy.
like I mean the blokes that are involved in behind the scenes now are doing a great job. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. All right, Lockie, it's time for this. Hope you have a good memory.
You best delete your browsing history after this, because you're about to enter the VaughanHub.
Oh yeah. All right, Lockie. This is the segment where I dive deep into the VaughanHub and I find clips of all athletes that come on. This guy can't
That
control
name's
himself.
awesome, by the way.
I find clips of athletes doing their thing on the court, and I get them to guess, who they were playing, how many points they scored if they can remember. and just anything running through their head at the time. So are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Alrighty, here is number one. And I'm starting off with not the one I played, so
Okay.
get that out of your head. All right, here we go.
In to stop defensively. Dent. Got it! Dent's got some room. Dent this time guarded by Walton Jr. Slings it out for Swaka Labullock. Oh, board for Froling. Dent! Lucky Dent!
Yeah, okay, I know it.
He knows it.
So Walton Jr. played for the Kings last year, so that's a little giveaway there, but it'd be the first game of the year against there. The play is, I think I attacked pick and roll off Froles and threw it back to Swaka, who missed a three, and Froles got a rebound. I relocated to the three and made it. So yeah, points I don't really remember. I think 15 maybe.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, upwards of 15.
17?
Or 19. Try 19.
I was 7 of 7 from the field. I remember that.
I think I was at that game. I was like, fuck yeah, this guy's carving up.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It's funny looking back. Like I know I didn't do anything like really special. I just kind of got open shots and managed to hit them.
Yeah.
And you walk out and you kind of like, man, I didn't miss a shot. Like, should I have taken a few more? That was my first thought. Like, if I was really feeling it, should I have shot it a bit more? But we tried really hard to get the win, and we managed to not do that. And then also J-Rob got hurt that game. So, but yeah, that was probably, I'd say like that's one of the most important games of my career. Like that's kickstarted.
Yeah.
That kickstarted last year off and allowed me to, I guess when J-Rob did go down, be the next man up. So yeah, that's a pretty fun game to look back on.
Mate, it's awesome to watch. All right, let's move on to number 2.
Dent, 4-3, looks good out of the hand, and is. The last 10 seconds here, Caps will try and stand for the last shot. Dent gets it up, drops it.
Yeah, so that's
58, 47,
Rockhampton
47.
last year. We're playing at Brisbane Capitals, and that's my man Mal on the commentary. That's how I can tell. I believe that game got pretty close, and
I've still got more audio here if you want to listen to it.
I think I know I hit a 3 ball that rattles in down the stretch to put it, and then that's another funny game. I remember that very vividly.
Do you remember how many points you scored?
22, 23.
Mate, you're doing yourself dirty.
26.
Try 30s.
I had 32, I think.
34.
Oh, there we go.
Big game.
Yeah, okay. I more remember the subtleties of that. Like I had a steak before that game. I remember that. And it didn't sit well. I remember I got fouled at one stage and had to sit there for a little bit. And so I remember that about that game.
I should have a steak before every game. If you're gonna
34
points.
Like I said, it's not good on the bows. Thankfully, we weren't wearing white that game because it would have been bad.
That's classic.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the last one.
Around the front, Dent gets the floater up, way up in the air over Pinder.
What a positive piece off the bench he's been so far. A few defensive plays. He's hit a 3
Lachlan
now.
Dent, step back splash. All right, Lachlan Dent.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Lachlan Dent.
Mate, no more audio required. What are we talking about? What are we talking?
So that's the last game of the season. I'm going to give you a date for this. I think it's August 7 or August 8 of 2020. No, wouldn't it be August 6? It was August 6, 2020. What was it? 22. We're playing Northside Wizards. Northside had
on the
Drimmick,
fucking head.
They had Whitey. They had Pinder, McCarran. Funny game for this. Like our coach was a big Albanian fella, and he just had a son, and the son was playing up a little bit. before the game, so he had to go attend to that. So we actually had our assistant coach us for the first half.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty funny because, you know, everyone doesn't care when that happens. Everyone's just kicking back and just doing whatever they want. So
Yeah.
we played really well. And to be honest, I thought we were actually going to win it. And I did ask Whitey, like when I was back, I said, did you ever think you're going to lose that? He went, no. I was like, yeah, right. So
Classic.
from our perspective, but yeah, I think, 26?
You scored 27.
I
Very
think
close.
what do I have, 7 assists maybe?
Yeah. 6.
Yeah, okay.
Fire.
There we go. That's the one difference. Sorry.
Crazy. While we're on NBL 1, what is that comp like? You know, is that a comp? I'm not really across the NBL 1 as much, but is that a comp where players go in the postseason of the NBL comp, or is that run?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's pretty much like what like from footy terms, like what New South Wales Cup is
Mhm.
to the NRL, but it's ran in the off season of
in
the
the off
NBL.
season. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So
That's a
essentially, you can
great
play.
idea.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And it's awesome because it's only a 3-month season, I believe.
Because you've got guys like, I just spoke to Greta the other week, like he's now playing in New Zealand in the NBL or New Zealand NBL 1 competition down there, which is, it's great that, like, you know, all these cities all the NBL's putting on this tournament for, you know, the off season, which is awesome. It advantages
Yeah,
so
I
many,
mean,
so
it
many
used to
players.
be like an ABA, I believe it was called, in the
Mhm.
Siebel.
Mhm.
So it's kind of ran for like forever.
Okay.
And then I believe the NBL has taken ownership of it and it's just taken it off.
Yeah.
But it is really cool. Like, I mean, the first thing is like the level of, like, you don't have the everyday practices. Like most of those
Yeah.
guys have jobs in the day, and then they come to practice at night.
Yeah.
So it is really fun. Like, and it's a great like mix between like a break from basketball and still a chance to play and train. And
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I know for me, the last 2 years have I've just been working out and then playing.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I've been very lucky. Like, we've been going to Brisbane, so
Yeah.
the weather's been beautiful.
Fabulous.
So made up for that to come to the German winter. But yeah, we saw a lot of sun for 2 years, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
but it is cool. Like, I mean, you literally play against, like, I think one team last year had Cadee Blanchfield.
Mhm.
Then you'd play like Ipswich and they'd have Sobey, Deng
Yeah.
Deng, Jalen and Kyron Galloway.
Yeah.
Like, you'd play against Lamar Patterson's rolling around up there. Brendan Tees is still rolling around up there. Like, there are so many names that have
It's
either
crazy.
played or are playing in the NBL, and you
Yeah.
just play against them every week.
That's awesome, man.
So
You just mentioned Germany. Let's go back to the present. You're averaging career highs pretty much over there where you are. You're averaging, I think this is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. 7.7 points, 2.1 rebounds, 2.2 assists. Does that sound about right?
yeah, I think so.
I think so. No, you don't
I
remember
think so.
stats.
Yeah,
You just roll with it
not
and grind.
really. Yeah, just make the right play and hope it works.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you put these career highs down to?
I mean, I think,
I guess consistent game time is probably a big thing.
like playing consistently is good. I mean, last year I had an opportunity. I think I probably could have. Like, it is really funny. Like, perspective is massive. So coming over here, like, gaining the perspective of, like, looking back, like, I would have played so differently if I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
And that's like, I mean, I felt like I had a decent year last year, and then you come over here and I mean, statistically, I think like those numbers, I'd love them to be higher. all of them. Especially, I really look at my assisted turnovers. Really,
Okay.
like I don't really want to be turning the ball over, and I want to be making plays for others as well. But
Yeah.
like it is an interesting like perspective you gain as you play, especially in a system over here where it's totally new.
Hmm.
And like I said, like yeah, I'm playing German basketball, which is an interesting type. It's a little bit different to Australian. But my coach is Croatian.
Yeah.
So like I'm learning German, I'm learning like learning the German basketball, and I'm learning a little bit of the Yugoslavian basketball.
Yeah.
And then I've got this base of Australian basketball. So when you mold it all together, I think I'm just going to become a more well-rounded player. And I think that probably helps with, I guess, these career highs. Like I think it's just building each year and getting better.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like I said, like I mean, realistically, like it's funny you talked about that Luka Doncic interview.
Yeah.
Like I think in that same interview, like JJ, I think asked him like, "You're a big analytic guy," and like it's like, no,
No.
not at all. And like, I mean, it's easy when you're 6'8" and probably the best player in the world or the second best player in the world. But like it is something to just playing and having fun. And then once I watch and I actually like, I'd like to transition into something probably either coaching or front office stuff in basketball.
Hmm.
I think I'll get a little bit more analytic then.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
You guys are sitting 7th with a record of 16 and 12. What's the message from here from the coaching staff moving forward for you guys?
I mean, we're sitting in a good spot. There's a lot of teams. We still have 6 games to go. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a long year, but it's also like, it's a long year because you're just playing once a week, really. So
Yep.
you have a lot of practice, which is a lot of fun as a
Yeah, it would
lot
be.
of fun for everyone but my knees and my ankles and my hips and my but no, like it like we just kind of go about our daily business. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's our message to the end of like we just want to win games. We have
Yep.
a lot of games to go. I think if we finish in the playoffs, like which I think we should, I think we all want to do that.
Yep.
Like I said before, we have very limited Germans at the moment, so it's just a matter of getting everybody healthy.
Yep.
And getting ready to play. It's a 3-game series in the playoffs, and anything can really happen. So,
100%.
like, yeah, if we make shots, I think we win games. If we miss, we probably tend to struggle a little bit more. But like, it's easy. Like, you know, your defense works off your offense works off your defense. So
That's it.
yeah,
Let's finish off with some rapid fire questions. So the first thing that comes to
Okay.
the top of mind, just blurt it out. All right, you ready? What's your pre-game ritual? If you have one.
No, I just have a coffee and I do a little routine that evolves depending on what's hurting. So just trying to fire everything up. But yeah, not really heaps. I just kind of make a coffee before I go and play a little bit of music and yeah, try and
Get
get
into
myself
it.
fired up. Yeah.
Who's the worst teammate to room with on a road trip? Current league, NBL, whatever.
I'm not sure. I haven't really had any
Name
bad.
names. We
I
want
haven't had
names.
any bad roommates. I mean, like, there's some interesting dudes in the world, and I'm one of them. So,
You're gonna put yourself
like, I
down.
mean, yeah, I'm probably pretty shit to room with. I mean, I think like Greta and I, 2 years ago, I believe, we played in Sydney, and we roomed together, and we weren't playing the next day.
So it was just mischief.
Just childish shit though. There's an Easy Mart around the corner
Yeah.
from where we were staying, and I just like I think I was talking to my missus last night about it. Like it was just we were just being reckless at like 12 o'clock at night, just eating lollies and Greta bought cereal or something. So I wouldn't say like he's bad to room with because I have so much fun hanging out with him. But
Eating
yeah, I
lolly,
don't really.
eating lollies and cereal at 2 a.m. That's when you know you're in your prime athletic ability.
Yeah. 12. It was 12. We were asleep at 2, or like trying to with the sugar high we had. We were like, but yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things. Like, I had a roommate. I'm not going to name his name, but yeah, he used to wake up super early and get into his day at like 5:30 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, there has been a moment where we've crossed paths.
Go to fucking sleep, bro.
At some stage, yeah, not cross paths at some stage at his
That's
wake
funny.
up time and maybe my bedtime. But yeah,
All right. Who's the most skilled teammate you've played with? Just overall
Ooh.
skill.
Oh, jeez,
Tough.
that is really tough. Oh, it's weird because everyone like I've sort of played with has like a very interesting or a very diverse skill set.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like if I talk about someone who always amazed me watching was Antonius Cleveland. Just his ability to, he didn't like practice a lot. And then he'd come into games and he'd just turn it up. And it was like, he turned into a totally different person.
Just one of those like naturally gifted players.
Yeah. And he knew that he was just like a game time player. Like he was amazing at it. Like he still practiced like hard.
Yeah.
And got his work in and did everything.
Yeah.
But him on the practice floor versus him on the court, like two different people. I remember just being like, holy, I don't know
Completely
how
different beast.
do that. I think that's also something like just learning to be a pro is like picking your moments and like these guys, you know, like they're even Tyler Harvey, like Tyler's unbelievably skilled. Like some of those the first year Tyler was there, he hit a floater from like heels on the 3-point line.
Bro, his float game is crazy.
One of the wildest shots I've ever seen. But now his golf game isn't as good.
Shout out to Tyler Harvey if you're listening, mate.
Shout out to Tyler. But his skill level is unbelievable. And like, yeah, I mean, I could go through a list.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many players that just.
Well, go.
I'd mention one guy I think is the most like Justinian Jessup is probably in my mind when I listen to someone that like just the same every time is just the same. Like
repetitive.
It was clockwork. You see him catch and shoot, clockwork. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this might lead into my next question. Best shooter.
Yeah, see, this is where it gets a bit tough.
Let's say a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. I'm gonna put myself there.
Yes.
But
I love it.
I think we would put like we had shootouts with that first year. Like I talked about that first year a little bit with Gorge. Like Justinian, Tyler, Isaac, myself. Like we would all just catch and shoot till the cows came home. Timmy Conrad came into that thing. Timmy's one of those guys that doesn't like he's old now, so he's looking after his body and like he wouldn't really work out heaps, but just would come onto the floor and just wet piece everything. He's one, like Oscar Foreman's one that comes to my head. Back when he was like pick and pop king at Wollongong. Like Kirk Penny. I don't know if I have like Cody Ellis. Like I could go through all these old names. You got me excited now. I'm probably not going to stick tonight.
Stick with He's going to be rattling off 3-point shooters in your head.
I'm so pumped up, but like we would have days where it would be like me, JJ, Tyler and Isaac, like we'd be a group of 4 shooting, and it would just be like the first one to miss pretty much lost. If you'd go
Yeah.
first to 15, if you miss, you're out. Like
Bro.
there were
That's
some big
crazy.
days. Like, and you know, then the competitiveness comes out in everybody. So
Yeah.
then you get everyone else come in, and you may not be a great shooter, but they're a great competitor, and so the ball
Yeah.
goes in the hoop somehow.
All right, let's move on to best handles that you've played with. Who has the best handles?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funky. Like, I mean, I guess Seaver had really good handles.
Mm.
Trying to think back to,
Even Tyler's got pretty good handles.
yeah, like I think a lot of people like the NBA is more of an anomaly in that sense too, in the fact that like there's a lot more, you could say, matchup based basketball, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you're trying to force, I guess, double teams to come and everything. So
Yeah.
like for who I've played with, most of the guys that I've sort of played with just find time and space to be able to dribble and manipulate the ball. So I'd say like, yeah, Tyler, Seaver, um, Justin Robinson last year before he got hurt was
J Rob, yeah.
unbelievable at times. Like, and his speed was just amazing.
He's electric.
Emmett Nah had a really good like just pace, and he moved, like he was able to manipulate the ball in a way that I guess fooled a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I wouldn't say like your typical like handles is more or less
Nah, fair enough.
like I don't really have an answer to that. It's more
Yeah.
just like these guys just get the ball into
Mm-hmm.
areas where they can operate.
Yeah. All right. This is a NBA question. Who do you think is going to take out the NBA championship this season?
I think the Celtics,
Yeah.
they are unbelievable when they play all their guys.
Yeah, when they got a full
Um,
roster, bro. Crazy to
it's
watch.
it's wild. I do like. I love New York.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Brunson fan. I
Jalen
love
Brunson,
like
bro, he's killing it.
it might be the fact that he's a little guard.
Yeah. Little guard on
So
little guard. You love him.
I love him. Um,
Even
I
Dante
like my
DiVincenzo. He's
yeah.
starting to get hot, killing it.
I mean, Josh Hart's unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
these guys, like it's a really fun team to watch because they're just not. You look at them, you're like, you shouldn't be winning NBA games, but
Yeah.
they are,
I'm pretty sure
and I
those
like
three,
that.
pretty sure Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart, I think they all played college together too.
Yeah, they went to Villanova.
Yeah.
So,
So,
and they had
they're,
Mikal Bridges in that group too.
yeah,
So they had a
crazy.
pretty stacked college team.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like Miami, but just because Patty's there now.
Patty's there now, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to say, and this is a controversial call, but I think the Warriors make it to the Western Conference semis at least. I
I
wouldn't
hope
be
so
surprised
because
if
I
you
am a
see
Warriors
them.
fan. I hope they do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them in the finals. And I'm just not going to bet against Steph. Steph's my favorite player
Yeah, I agree.
ever.
Any team
So,
with Steph in it, you can't count them out. Never.
yeah,
All right.
but yeah, I think Boston will top them though.
Yeah, I agree. They'll get paid back for that 2022 championship.
Yeah.
NBA All-Star. I'm sorry, NBA all-time starting 5. Let's bang them out.
All time. Jeez. Steph at the 1.
Yep.
Jordan at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron at the 3.
Yep.
I'd go. So this is where it gets difficult because I don't really know. Like, I'm gonna go my era because I've sort of seen it more.
Yeah.
Dirk at the 4.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to change this. This is going to be pretty controversial too. So I'm going Steph at the 2.
Who you putting at the 1?
MJ at the 3, LeBron at the 4, Dirk at the 5, and Steve Nash at the 1.
Yeah, that's not controversial at all. I love that. I love
So
that.
I don't know if there'd be better. I mean, you could say Shaq at the 5, but I like Dirk.
Yeah, well, if I was to rattle mine off, I'd Steph at the 1. I'd have Kobe at the 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kobe.
Jordan at the 3. LeBron at 4. Shaq at 5.
Yeah, I like Kobe more than I like LeBron, but I'm starting to like LeBron more as I get older.
Yeah, you just appreciate. Yeah,
So
I agree.
I don't
Mate,
know. I'm just a Steve Nash and Steph Curry fan,
mate,
so
either of those
I
teams
can't
that we
get
rattled
hated for that.
either of those teams that we rattled off, mate, I'm not complaining about it at all.
No, not at all.
All right. Lastly,
So,
we've got 5 minutes left. Do you have any goals? Well, what are your goals for the next 5 years?
for the next 5 years, I mean, I would love to play in an Olympics.
Yeah.
So LA would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I mean, like, it's funny. Like, I mean, LA is the goal.
Yeah.
I want to be at least in the squad come
Mhm.
LA. But I think when I start to look more at goals down the track, I kind of lose sight of just who I am as a person. I guess I kind of lose sight of like where I am now.
Yeah.
And obviously right now, like for me to get to LA is going to be a grind. Like I'm playing in the second division of a German league, sort of in the slums a little bit, just grinding it out.
Yeah.
So I think like just day by day getting better, getting my body feeling better. It's been a lot of fun actually over here because you kind of are a bit isolated from the world. So, or from our world of the surroundings, you know. So like I've been able to look into a bunch of other stuff that is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And hope it helps me. But I'd say like I'd like to be playing at a high level, whether it's like a first division team somewhere and then make a Boomers squad come LA Olympics and go from there. That's sort of the goal for 5 years.
Bro,
So
grind it out. I'm sure if you keep grinding, mate, anything's
yeah,
possible. All right,
that's the
Lachy.
thing.
Lachy, thanks for joining me today and good luck for the rest of your season. And hopefully that playoff run comes and you win a championship.
That would be the plan. Get promoted. So
Yeah, boy.
it's a promotion relegation kind of world over here, which is really nice. So
Yeah.
you're playing for something really big.
For sure.
But yeah, appreciate you having me on. It was nice to catch up and chat. And
Yeah, easy.
we'll see you when I get back into the gong.
For sure, man. All right. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, brother.
Catch you, man.
No problem. See you, mate.